announcement up on all, or you can, just so to tell everyone you. Okay, here goes me. If that's the way it is today, who's to say it'll stay that way? The sun will shine, is that a sign? It will show tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, we do our sums, count the cost, one by one. Jack's all wrong in this song of love lost in the night. Jack loves Jill and always will, until the fall that maims or kills. Life is tough, so very rough, when things go wrong. Mum loves dad and dad loves mum. It's a long life to love someone. Hold on tight, don't let go. Let go, you know, you'll say bye-bye. I want my money back. I want my money back. I want my money back. Right, if that's the way it is today, who's to say it'll stay that way? The sun will shine, is that a sign? It will show tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, we do our sums, count the cost one by one. Jack's all wrong in this song of love lost in the night. Jack loves Jill and always will, until the fall that names or kills. Life is tough, so very rough when things go wrong. Mum loves dad and dad loves mum. It's a long life to love someone. Hold on tight, don't let go, you know you'll say bye-bye. I want my money back. I want my money back. I want my money back right now.
Just so everybody knows, I appear to have lost the ability to unmute all. So you will need to unmute yourselves in order to...
It's a do-it-yourself job on the muting front then. Sorry. Okay, so and no money's changed hands, so sort of money back guarantee is not needed. Okay, so over to Pete and Maggie, and I shall mute.
Okay, I'm muted. Yeah, funny. You want your money back? We were asked to contribute to an afternoon of not particularly old folkies, and we found a couple of songs about money, and they're both very well known, which has taken a chance. I always think of this as belonging to Ken and Peter. What will we do when we'll have no money? It was collected from Mary Delaney in Tipperary. Yeah, all set. Yeah. What'll we do when we have no money? Oh, true lovers, what will we do then? Only hawk through the town for a Hungary pound, and we'll yodel it over again. What'll I do if I marry a tinker? Oh, true lovers, what will we do then? Only sell a tin can and walk on with me, man, and we'll yodel it over again. What'll we do if I marry a soldier? Oh, true lovers, what will we do then? Only handle his gun and fight on for the fun, and we'll yodel it over again. What will we do if I have a fine daughter? All true lovers, what will we do then? We'll take her by the hand and walk on with me, man, and we'll yodel it over again. What'll we do when we have no money? All true lovers, what will we do then? Only hawk through the town for a hungry pound, and we'll yodel it over again.
What a nice song.
Great song. Yeah. Ooh, ow.
Great song.
I didn't remember that the Silly Sisters had recorded it. Ken and Pete do it so beautifully, but together with harmony. I always think of them as owning it. And Lankam's recorded a very solemn version as well.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
they didn't collect it. Pat Mackenzie and Jim Carroll collected it.
Yep,
Yeah, got that.
that's what it says here.
Yes.
I haven't seen them for years, but
Not sure.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, so anyway, you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Me.
Is that okay, boss?
Doesn't count
Like
as
me?
that.
Okay. Yeah. We were trying to think of the subject of the afternoon's workshop was money, and I was going to do a different one, and Maggie then said this one.
I'm on your way in. Yeah.
Oh, decisions. If you're a guitar player, shall I do it with a thumb pick or a flat pick? Oh,
Get on with it.
Lots of folk back east, they say, are leaving home most every day, treading hard on the dusty way to the California line. Across the desert sands they roll, getting out of that old dust bowl. They think they're going to a sugar bowl, but here is what they find. Police at the port of entry say, your number 14,000 for the day, and if you ain't got that do-re-mi, boys, if you ain't got that do-re-mi, oh, you'd better get back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden, a paradise to live in or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hot if you ain't got that do-re-mi. You wanna buy your home or a farm that can't do nobody harm, or take your vacation by the mountain or the sea. Don't swap your old cow for a car. You better stay right where you are. You'd better take this little trip from me, 'cause I look through the want-ads every day, and the headlines in the papers always say, if you ain't got that do-re-mi, boy, if you ain't got that do-re-mi, oh, you'd better get back to beautiful Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Georgia, Tennessee. California's a garden of Eden, a paradise to live in or see. But believe it or not, you won't find it so hard if you ain't got that do-re-mi.
Excellent. Rishi Sunak would approve, I think, on days like this.
Oh,
I-
is it
I-
Maggie?
Yeah. Pelagie?
Pelagie.
Pelagie. I'll get there eventually. maybe
You
by
will.
the end of the night. So, have you got something for us?
I have, yes. Can you hear me okay?
We can, yeah. Well, I'll go
Yeah.
into mute and you take it away.
Okay. If you can hear me, tell me. I was over in Paris on holiday one summer. The weather was fine. I stopped at a fast food restaurant for a meal and a glass of red wine. I mused as I gazed on the river, the boats and their bright-coloured sails. If this was a fast food restaurant, how come the menu said snails? I waited 10, 15 minutes, 20, and then 25. I signalled and said to the waiter, "My snails have not yet arrived." "Monsieur, our frogs' legs come in lorries. Our wine comes by rail from the Rhone. Our rock cakes are ferried from quarries. Our snails have to come on their own. We order our snails from Marseille. They come up the road on the Ouf, and although they are racing snails, half an hour is hardly enough." I drank a full bottle of claret, had side salads garnished with chives, had several shaves, wrote a novel. My snails have not yet arrived. It's our way to ensure they're mature. Marseille is a long way to come. It would be quicker to hitchhike, but a snail, as you know, has no thumb. I did crosswords. I once took a mistress, married the first of my wives. Our children grew up and left home. My snails have not yet arrived. I had an affair. We divorced. A second marriage which failed. 2 more sons and a daughter. 6 grandchildren, no bloody snails. By now I was getting quite peckish, when back came the waiter at last. "Monsieur, your snails are arriving, but their sell-by date may have passed." There outside was my dinner, on the opposite side of the street. They were waiting for a gap in the traffic. Tomorrow I knew I would eat. Oh, slow-motion mollusk, I marvel, how patient your pace to the door. How big was the boot of the gendarme, how crunch was my lunch was no more. I have read War and Peace, I have learned it, sat through it, and I have survived. But what will it say on my headstone? My snails have not yet arrived. That's Les Barker. My snails have not yet arrived. Thanks.
So, Pelucci, where are you at the moment?
Darlington.
Darlington, okay. Right, now over to California, where we have the world here. So, Riggy, take it away.
Hey.
I'll go to mute.
Hurrah.
Well, maybe there was another Californian here I didn't know. This song was very popular maybe 40 years ago. I've actually heard some Brits sing it. Written by one of Pete Seeger's neighbors. Though my sails be torn and tattered, though my sails be torn and tattered, though my mast be turned around, though the night winds chill me to my very soul, though the spray might sting my eyes and the stars no light provide, give me just enough morning light to hold. I will not lie me down this rain a-raging. I will not lie me down in such a storm. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. Though the only water left is but salt to wound my thirst, I will drink this rain that falls so steadily down. Though night blindness be my gift, there are thieves upon my drift. I will bless this fog that shelters me around. I will not lie me down, this rain a-raging. I will not lie me down in such a storm. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. Though my friends be worn and weary, and believe where hopes are lost, there's no room for their bones on this blackened bottom. Though death waits just off the bow, we shall not answer to him now. We must stand and face the morning light without him. I will not lie me down, this rain a-raging. I will not lie me down in such a storm. If this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. I will not lie me down, this rain raging. I will not lie me down in such a storm. And if this night be unblessed, I shall not take my rest until I reach another shore. Sailor's Prayer.
Wonderful stuff.
Yeah, lovely.
Now, Andrew Whitaker, do you want to sing a song? I can't see you.
Andrea.
I think she's Andrea rather
It's,
than
it's Andrea. Oh, yeah, Andrea.
How to do that gender reveal thing.
But unmute yourself first, Andrea.
I'm assuming everybody else wants to sing a song. I'll ask you later on. Let's get a song from Sheila, and I'll try and communicate via the chat.
Yes, the note that I have on my list to start this song on feels too high these days, partly because I've been really croaky since the lockdown began. My very great friend Peter Bellamy died 28 years ago today, so this is one of his. It goes highest in the chorus, which means that usually the fact that I might be screeching on the top note is covered up by other people joining in, but that's not going to happen. So I'm going to have a kind of a guess at a starting note. Farewell. Oh, I know what I was going to say. He actually wrote all of the songs in the Transports were written for specific singers whom he admired, although two of them in the event were not sung on the album by the people they'd been written for. This one was written for Lau to sing with the rest of the Watersons joining in, but Lau was ill when it was recorded, so Peter and Anthea did it. And we were meant to be staying with him just a few days before he died, and he called up and said, "It's really not a good time, don't come." So anyway, You'll know the chorus. Farewell to our lovers and our kind relations. That may actually be too low. Sorry, I'm hopeless at taking notes, as you know. Farewell to our lovers and our kind relations. Farewell to the homes we love well. There is never an ending to our tribulations. I've been singing this forever, but I haven't sung it for ages. Should have gone over it more often. Sorry, I'm making a mess of this. I'll start again. Farewell to our lovers and our kind relations. Farewell to the homes we love well. There is never an ending to our tribulations, for they've damned us like sinners to hell. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. The sweet fetters of love, they are wrenching asunder as they tear us from sweethearts and wives. And on some foreign shore we are sentenced to wander in exile the rest of our lives. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. From Devon, from Derby, from Wiltshire and Wales, from Norwich and Newark and Frome, we are herded together from verminous jails, and like vermin are forced from our homes. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. There's cheats and cut purses and rogues with no name. There's swindlers and sheep stealers bold. There's poor poaching fellas took nothing but game. And there's footpads took nothing but gold. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. There's coiners and clippers and ladies of pleasure. There's dicers and drunkards and whores. There's butchers and bakers who dealt in short measures, and a few who have broken no laws. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. There's some who expected to go to the gallows. There's others who thought to go free. But now one and all in the hulks lie as shackled, and together must plough the salt sea. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. There's some of our number are handsome and hearty. There's others the voyage will mend. But there's never a soul of our miserable party will live to see England again. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. So farewell to you, judges so kind and forgiving. Farewell to your prisons and cells. For though we must leave all that makes life worth living, we're leaving you bastards as well. Here's adieu. Here's adieu to the green fields of England. Now we're parting from you. I would normally do a double chorus on that. Sorry, that was distinct fraudulence.
Your sound was sort of going up and down in quite a sort of dramatic way.
Oh,
And I don't know if there's a critical point, a critical distance from the microphone or whatever.
Sound.
But
oh, really?
yeah, don't worry about it. It's okay though. Roger, the new boy on the block.
Hi.
Here comes Roger.
Can you hear me?
I'm into mute.
Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, this is I think this is a Jimmy Witherspoon song, Once Upon a Time, called Ain't Nobody's Business What I Do. Not a sentiment that people hold too much these days, but anyway, I got this of Davy Graham's Folk Blues and Beyond, although this isn't quite like his version, I have to say. Anyway, there we go. Since you left me, baby, I'm out all night, got no one to say everything's alright. Ain't nobody's business what I do. There's no dice or poker, I'm in the bars, the heels on my shoes way down. Well, baby, that's because ain't nobody's business what I do. I get drunk, sit all alone, got blues in my head, Lord. I won't be home because it ain't nobody's business what I do. I'm a nighttime man, that's alright with you. I'll have breakfast at midnight till I find somebody new. You know it ain't nobody's business what I do.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Worth waiting for.
A bit shaky.
Yeah. Right, now, Alison. Are you actually outside, or have you got a?
No, I'm in my kitchen.
Oh, okay, right.
You
That's why
can
there's an
see
oven on
through
her
to my
left.
living room and my
Okay.
back. But it's yeah. Okay, so I really like the tune to this song. I'm not so enamoured with the words, but the tune takes precedence in my book. So here's the story of the Rigs of Rye. 'Twas in the month of sweet July, before the sun had pierced the sky, down between two rigs of rye, I heard two lovers talking. He said, "Lassie, lassie, I must go away, and with you no longer can I stay, but I've a word or two to say, if you've the time for to tarry. Of you your father he takes good care, combs your yellow hair. Your sisters say that you'll get no share if you follow me, lover, stranger. Oh, lassie, lassie, your fortune is small. Perhaps it's true, and you got none at all. I'm not a match for you at all. So go and wed with another. My father may fret, and my mother may frown. My sisters too, I do disown. If they were dead and below the ground, I would follow you, you're no stranger. This lassie's courage began to fail. Her rosy cheeks, they grew wan and pale, and the tears came trickling down like hail, or a heavy shower in summer. This lad, he's taken his kerchief fine. He's dried the teardrops all from her eyes, saying, weep no more, love, you shall be mine. All I said was to try you. This couple, they are married now, and they have babies by one and two, and they live in Break in the winter through. I in Montrose in summer, I in Montrose in summer.
So it's Terry, Wendy, and then John. You okay? Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. That was lovely, Alison. This song was inspired by where you are at the moment, because I don't normally do blues songs, being of a sunny disposition, but this seems appropriate because Alison is in her kitchen and it's raining outside at the moment over here in Essex. Come on in my kitchen. It's gonna be raining outdoors. Well, the woman I love took me from my best friend, and some joker stole her back again. You better come on in my kitchen. It's gonna be raining outdoors. Well, she's gone, I know she won't come back, taking the last nickel out of my nation sack. You better come on in my kitchen. It's gonna be raining outdoors. Can't you hear that wind moan? Can't you hear that wind howl? my kitchen. It's gonna be raining outdoors. When a woman gets in trouble, everybody throws her down, looking for a good friend, none can be found. Come on, in my kitchen. It's gonna be raining outdoors. Winter time is coming, it's gonna be slow. You can't make this winter, babe, that's too dry long ago. So come on, my kitchen, it's gonna be raining outdoors. Thank you.
Woo!
Robert Johnson song, of course.
Yes. So over to Wendy.
Okay, well, I couldn't have chosen a better song to follow on from you, Terry, because this is called Rainy Night in Soho. It's obviously a rainy theme. We're obviously kind of worrying about the weather, I think, these days. I've been loving you a long time, down all the years, down all the days, and I've cried for all your troubles, smiled at your funny little ways. We watched our friends grow up together, and we watched them as they fell. Some of them fell into heaven, some of them fell into hell, fell into hell. I took shelter from a shower, and I stepped in to your arms on a rainy night in Soho. The wind was whistling in your charms. I sang you all my sorrows. You told me all your joys. Whatever happened to that old song? To all those little girls and boys, those little girls and boys. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, the ginger lady by my bed, covered in a cloak of silence. I'd hear you talking in my head. Oh, I'm not singing for the future. I'm not dreaming of the past. I'm not talking of the first times. I never think about the last, about the last. Now the song is nearly over. We may never find out what it means. Still there's a light I hold before me. You are the measure of my dreams, the measure of my dreams.
Who wrote that, Wendy?
Sorry?
Who wrote that?
The Pogues.
Ah.
Oh, really? Okay. John Hegley. You... unmute yourself. We can't hear you.
Okay. Nick, I thought Nick was going to say something. Did he? No. This is a song that was taught me by Phil Ryder when I was in Interaction in 1978. It's an Elizabethan song. Because he was Will Shakespeare. He was the community. There were various community cameos that Interaction had. There was Captain Cook, Edward Lear, and Will Shakespeare. And Phil was Will Shakespeare, and he really looked like him. And he used to go out of schools, and the kids used to say, "Yeah, but how can you be Will Shakespeare?" He said, "I don't know. I just am." Anyway, so I think you could. I know you could. It's not. You can't really join in properly, but I think when I sing "In the Time of the Year," I think you should sing "In the Time of the Year" as best you can. I'll sing it. I'll do it the first time myself. All in the garden green, two lovers sat at ease, as they could scarce be seen among the leafy trees. Long had they loved ye fair, no longer than true lie. In the time of the year, in the time of the year. Okay, so you do the second one, right? In the time of the year, cometh twixt May and July. So I don't know what happens, but maybe you're doing it. I can't hear you. Quoth he, most lovely maid, my troth shall I endure, and be not thou afraid, but rest thee still secure, that I will love thee long as life in me shall last. Now that I am strong and young, now that I am strong and young, and when my youth is past. When I am grey and old, and then must stoop to age, I shall love thee 20-fold, my troth I do engage. My love shall be the same, it never shall decay, but shine without all blame, shine without all blame, though body turn to clay. She listened to his song, and heard it with a smile, and innocent as young, she dreamed not of guile. And no guile was meant, I ween, for he was true as steel. And there was the bit I cannot follow in the page, so we must make it up and make a meal of it. Full soon both two were wed, and these most faithful lovers may serve at board and bed example to all others. Long had they loved ye fair, no longer than true lie. In the time of the year cometh twixt May and July.
I think you need a piece of cardboard with the "in the time of the year" you hold up at the appropriate moments. A symbolic subtitle.
Some of us managed without Bernard.
Pardon me?
Some of us managed without the auto cue.
Was
I think we hold up the auto cue, don't we? We hold up what we're singing.
Yeah. So over to David, I think. I'm going into mute, and David's coming out of mute, but he's on a dark.
Yep. Out of mute. Right. I was checking. I haven't sung this one here, but it has a connection with previous events in that its subject is roughly the same vintage as John's, ancient Elizabethan whatever. We've had the Peter Bellamy connection tonight. This is a Peter Bellamy version of another song. What else can I say about it other than it doesn't have a chorus? But it does, I think. Yes, it does. In the east the wind is blowing all the boats across the sea, and their sails they fill the morning, and their cries ring out to me. Oh, the more it changes, well, the more it stays the same. And the hand just rearranges all the players in the game. Oh, I had a dream. It seemed I stood alone, and the veil of the ages, it goes sinking from my eyes like a stone. A king shall fall and put to death by the English Parliament shall be fire and flame to London come in the year of 623. An emperor of France shall rise, who shall be born near Italy. His rule shall cost his empire dear, Napoleon his name shall be. Man, man, your time is sand, your ways are leaves upon the sea. I am the eyes of Nostradamus, all your ways are known to me. From Castile shall Franco come, and the government driven out shall be. An English king shall seek divorce, and from his throne cast down is he. One named Hister shall become the captain of Greater Germany. No law does this man observe, bloody his rise and fall shall be. Man, man, your time is sand, your ways are leaves upon the sea. I am the eyes of Nostradamus, all your ways are known to me. In the new lands of America, 3 brothers now shall come to power. 2 alone are born to rule, but all must die before their hour. 2 great men, yet brothers not, shall make the North united stand. Their power shall be seen to grow, fear possess the eastern lands. And 3 leagues from the gates of Rome, a pope named Paul is doomed to die. A great wall that divides a city at this time is cast aside. For these are the signs I bring to you, to show you when your time is nigh. Man, man, your time is sand, your ways are leaves upon the sea. I am the eyes of Nostradamus, all your ways are known to me. Man, man, your time is sand, your ways are leaves upon the sea. I am the eyes of Nostradamus, all your ways are known to me. Stuart. Al Stewart.
We had Al Stewart at the Hatfield Poly sort of folk festival, and he turned up in a Ferrari Dino, a white one. Sort of like this was. I think he just signed the big record deal after Bedsitter Images and things.
Oh yeah.
And I must admit, I think I was probably just frankly dreadfully jealous of him in his slightly sort of twee manner.
There is a thing, Bernard.
Apologies for the lack
story.
of guitar solo in that.
Yeah. There is a story that he got the royalties for another Ace Stewart.
Oh. Oh, really? Oh.
That apparently came from him.
Oh, really? Okay.
Came from him.
Okay.
Oh, well.
Right. So next on the agenda was, I think I said, Chris Lamb. Are you there?
I am here.
Okay, I'm going to mute and it's over.
I haven't been muted. Okay, well, that's fine. As Sheila mentioned, this is an appropriate day to remember Peter Bellamy, and here is another Peter Bellamy song from the Transports. The times they are hard and the wages are poor, none of us poor fellows has money in store. So how can a good man keep the wolf from the door? Poor fellows, we all will go down. When work it is scarce, tell me, how can we eat? How can we afford to buy shoes for our feet? And how can we get clothing to keep off the sleet? Poor fellows, we might as well drown. If we could find labour, we ne'er would complain. We'd work well for a master, his favour to gain. We'd be honest and faithful, with never a stain. But poor fellows, how will we survive? We could plough the good land, we could fish the salt sea, we could work in the woodland of felling of trees. But when only the breath of our bodies is free, poor fellows, can we stay alive? Now a man that is single, he's free of all care, he can soon leave a district if no work be there. There's no manner of hardship that he cannot bear, poor fellow, if he is alone. But a man with a family, his hands they are tied, he must look to their comfort or lose all his pride. He can't wander away, but must stay by their side, poor fellows, and maintain his home. Oh, a man that is willing can't understand why he can find no employment, how hard he may try, and it breaks his poor heart for to see his wife cry. Poor fellow, he'll do what he can. And a man that is desperate and can't find a job, he will not be contented to sit home and sob. Be he ever so honest, he'll turn out and rob. Poor fellow, to prove he's a man. If a good man goes robbing, you know it's a shame. He brings scorn and misfortune on his honest name. But in pitiful straits, tell me, who is to blame? Poor fellow, you know he must try. So let's hope that these hard times, they soon pass away. And unto our sweet Saviour we earnestly pray, that this dark cloudy morn brings a glorious day. Poor fellows, sometime ere we die.
May I just
Were you pausing, or was your internet connection breaking up? I was a bit confused.
I believe that I have a poor internet connection. I get frequent breaks when I'm listening to other people singing, but I don't know whether it's affecting what I do. I may just have been catching my breath between lines.
It looks as though you've got amazing stop time in a sort of syncopated way.
I see. Well, I'm sorry. It's probably my internet connection.
Yeah, probably.
Unstable.
And Martin is in an orange glow under a sunray lamp there, pretending he's in Italy. So whiz over to Martinville.
Bernard, before you do that, may I just issue a quick correction? I just realised I said 28 years ago today. It wasn't. It was 29. It was 1991.
Okay. Okay, Martin.
Yes, righto. Once I rovered out on a bright summer's day. The fields were in blossom, the meadows all gay. I spied a damsel sitting over yon green, and I took her for Helen, that Grecian queen, that Grecian queen, that Grecian queen. And I took her for Helen, that Grecian queen. She's admired by others, I know them right well. Every morning for to view the sweet spot where she dwells, beneath the hawthorn at the top of yon hill. May she never marry, but think on me still, but think on me still, but think on me still. May she never marry, but think on me still. Oh, me parents died on me, and it's all for their sake. And it's oft times I think that my poor heart will break. And the more I think on them, all the more I will say. There is no one will be mine but the wee lass on the brae. The wee lass on the brae, the wee lass on the brae. There is no one will be mine but the wee lass on the brae. Oh, faith, there's a decline over yon far off sky, and is straight to my darling, like lightning I'll fly. If the night was as long as a long summer's day, I would cheerfully sit with the wee lass on the brae, the wee lass on the brae, the wee lass on the brae. I would cheerfully sit with the wee lass on the brae. Oh, it's fare you well, darling, I love you the best, and may you be happy, and may you be blessed, and may you think on me when I'm far away. For there's no one will be mine but the wee lass on the brae. The wee lass on the brae, the wee lass on the brae. There is no one will be mine but the wee lass on the brae.
Okay, so over to Nick and then Paul. I think that's it.
This is a song from I came to listening to folk music seriously a bit late in life and didn't get to hear a lot of the singers that you all talk about. So the Voice of the People CDs are a really good resource. And this is a song from one of the Voice of the People CDs by Jumbo Brightwell, sung by Jumbo Brightwell, The Loss of the Ramilly. Now it happened to be on a certain day that the Ramilly she at her anchor lay. It happened to be on a certain day the Ramilly she at her anchor lay. Why, the very night the gale came on, our ship she from her anchors run. Oh, the rain came down in a dreadful shock, the seas ran over our foretop. Oh, the rain came down in a dreadful shock, the seas ran over our foretop. She would neither stay nor would she revere, nor make enough way for us to steer. Now the masts and the mainsails they were all struck, and everything complete and snug. Oh, the masts and the mainsails they were all struck, everything complete and snug. Our canvas being so neatly spread, thinking we should weather the old Ram's Head. Well, a boatsman he cried, young fellows all, listen you unto me while I pipe my call. Oh, a boatsman he cried, young fellows all, listen you unto me while I pipe my call. Launch you out your boats, our lives for to save, or the sea this night will be our grave. So it's overboard our boats were tossed, some they got in but others they were lost. Oh, it's overboard our boats were tossed, some they got in and others they were lost. For there were some in one place, some in another, and the watch down below they were all smothered. Now when the news it came to Plymouth town that the Ramilly was lost and most of her men, oh, the news it came to Plymouth town, the Ramilly was lost and most of her men. All Plymouth town was flooded with tears at the hearing of this sad affair. So all you pretty girls now, wherever you may be, who lost your true love in the Ramilly, oh, come all you pretty girls now, wherever you may be, who lost your true love in the Ramilly. For there were only 3 left to tell the tale, how that ship behaved in the dreadful gale. Thank you. There's a really interesting article on what actually happened. It's not too far from the song, but it's a dreadful mistake that somebody made in navigation, and it finished up with a lot of people dead.
Oh. Such is life. And so over to Paul Steele.
Thank you. There's always a risk coming in late that you're going to do something somebody else has done, so let's hope not, eh? Come listen, For a moment, let's hear me tell me tale, how across the seas from England I was condemned to sail. The jury found me guilty and said the judge said for life, Jim Jones, I'm sending you across the stormy sea. But take the tip before you ship to join the Iron Gang. Don't get too gay in Botany Bay, or else you're surely hanged. Or else you're surely hanged, says he. Remember what I say. It's high upon the gallows tree, the crows will pick your bones. Well, our ship was high upon the sea when pirates came along. And the soldiers on our convict ship were full 500 strong. They opened fire and somehow drove that pirate ship away. But I'd rather join that pirate ship than gone to Botany Bay. With the storms are raging around us, the winds are blowing gales. Well, I'd rather have drowned in misery than gone to New South Wales. There's no time for mischief, there they say. Remember that, says they. But they flog the poaching out of you down there in Botany Bay. Well, it's day and night in irons clad like poor galley slaves. We toil and toil, and when we die, must fill dishonored grave. But by and by I'll slip my chains, into the bush I'll go, and I'll join the brave bush riggers there, Jack Donahue and Co. And one dark night, when everything is silent in the town, I'll shoot those bastards one and all, I'll gun the floggers down, I'll give the law a little shock. Remember what I say. They yet regret they sent Jim Jones in chains to Botany Bay.
No. Excellent. I think everyone's had a go. Is there anyone else? What have I missed anyone? I don't think. So I'm just wondering whether now would be a good time to have sort of 10 minutes off and then we go round again. Does that sound like a reasonable idea? So
After one
I've
from
got
you, Bernard.
Huh?
After one from you.
What shall I do? One.
Yeah.
Finish up the time wise. Okay. This is an Italian journey again. So. in a lazy ferry bar, waiting to set sail. A crazy elbow man, he told me this tale of a bikini baby who loved a Tuscan man. Her margarita mama wasn't in that plan. Go, go Tuscan man. Tuscan man. Margarita mama says no mobile phone can take the place of a chaperone. Beautiful baby, she gives good text. The language of love rated XXX. Go, go Tuscan man. Tuscan man. He's got good hair and designer shades. A wraparound tan that is not going to fade. On the road to love, with the toll not paid. In mama's little bag is a hacksaw blade. Go, go Tuscan man. Tuscan man. Mama knows best at the auto grill, eating macaroni, time to kill. Thunder in the sky, he hits a wall of hail. Mama's cut the cable so the brakes will fail. Go, go Tuscan man. Tuscan man. Baby in black by a hillside grave. Everybody's crying for a soul to save. A heart attack was not part of Mama's plan. Now a free and easy woman visits the Tuscan man. Go, go Tuscan man. Tuscan man. Ducati in flames was put out by the rain. Broken bones heal and pleasure kills pain. The cypress trees, they broke that fall. A happy ending for one and all. Go, go Tuscan man. Tuscan man. Go, go Tuscan, go. I always think it's very good for waking people up in the.
Yes.
I think you corrected me last time, Nick, saying that motorbikes haven't had cables for
quite a long
years.
time.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a classic Ducati. I think he'd obviously be riding. I think right. So shall we say that's 9:20, which is a classic time for having an interval. at the Islington Folk Club. So we're all come back again for past, and we start again, and we'll start, and we'll ask Riggy to start to give us a quality start. Are you there? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Three.
Okay. Better study up in the interval here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sign it.
Yes.
It's got my name on. Whatever it is, you sign it.
Oh.
Deserted by that cat.
Uh-huh.
Muted, unmuted. Un. Knowing it was on and making noise.
Oh, I keep trying to get. No.
Did I see Lizzie arrive? Oh yeah, Liz. Right.
I liked your drawing on Facebook, Bernard. Thought it was rather good.
Oh, which one of the little green dragon?
The bus with the yeah, that one.
Oh, okay. No, yeah. Well, I've been drinking at the Little Green Dragon, which but they've opened up the pavement, so you go there for 5 o'clock on a Friday for a pint, and naturally I was the first one there, and there was no one else there. Like, really, you ought to be painting all the people in the picture, but in order to get the structure, I felt that it ought to be, they used to have these things in comics where you have the people, you cut them out, and you stick them on with little tags and things. Yeah. So I felt that was the right background for that.
Yeah, so I remember my sister getting the Bunty comic, and she used to have little cutout things. Dolls you could dress with different clothes.
Yeah. Mm. The little tags that hang round people.
They used to have this stuff called silly putty. It came in an egg-shaped thing container, pink putty, and you could go to the comics in either in a comic book or in the Sunday paper and take them off.
Oh,
You would fall onto and then you could put them on your hand and you give yourself a tattoo.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
We were silly, you know.
We went to a pub last night and we had olives to start off with, and we did the same thing a week ago, and they brought cocktail sticks to eat the olives with, which is fairly normal.
Sure.
And they said, we can't give you cocktail sticks, it's against COVID. And we were trying to work out why giving out cocktail sticks would be a sort of COVID. So they gave us forks. Now, there is the idea the forks would go through this dishwashing process and things, and the cocktail sticks wouldn't. But I just wondered, has anyone else had some sort of crazy regulations?
The unfortunate thing about this situation is that it does give license to little Hitlers to be little Hitlers.
Yeah, yeah.
It's unfortunate as all the tossers who think that they're immune to it and they don't have to wear masks or stay a decent distance away from you.
You're very, very quiet, Sheila.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
I think it's your position. I think there's a critical distance that you are from the microphone.
It's probably because the webcam
Projects,
is
Sheila, projects.
Friends, Romans, countrymen. It's probably because the webcam isn't immediately in front of me. I should probably sit and face it when I'm. Does that make a difference?
Not much.
If I actually look at the camera.
You might need to turn your mic up in the settings.
Oh, I don't. Hang on, let me see if I can do that.
So we often think that it's a matter of intelligence or rural versus urban as to who wears masks. I live in a ghetto of the supposedly the smartest students. It's kind of like Oxford. This part of Berkeley I live in is very near the University of California, which is a premier school. And 75% of the students don't wear masks. So I don't get it, how the correlation between intelligence and behavior is just not correlated here.
It's age, Riggy. Young people think they're immune.
Well, they think they're untouchable. Yes. Omnipotent, in fact.
I live in an apartment in a converted garage behind a sorority house. You know, these girls are all very intelligent, and they have big parties, maybe 3 times a month, huge, no masks, and they're all in these tight little spaces and drinking heavily, and it's just insane. I bet if you went to Oxford, would it be the same there?
No.
Or Cambridge?
I don't know. I mean, our students are mostly performers or designers and technicians, and had such a frustrating time last term trying to work online. I think they're maybe not typical of students in general, because they're being very careful, because we've made it absolutely blooming clear that if anybody, you have to have quite large bubbles, because that's how classes work. So there's 15, 20 people in a bubble. If one of them goes down, then everybody's home. That's it. Still don't know whether they'll manage to carry it on all through the term. I hope so.
If you look at that thing called the World Meter or something like that, you can see that we have like 1,000 times the number of cases that the UK does. So that our behavior is so self-evidently not working So yours, you know,
Worse than us?
people are compliant, I think. And Americans have this fantasy that their freedom and individuality is the be all and end all of their lives.
I'm going to say, Lizzie, if you can hear us, if you go after Riggy, you're the newbie. Lizzie, can you hear us? If you go after Riggy's going to go first, you're going to go second. Okay.
When is that? Now?
No, well, I'd say in 2 minutes' time is what I said. I said at 1:30. So, by the Bernard Puckett time. Presumably you're on Californian time. So what time do you reckon it is in California?
It's exactly 8 hours earlier, so it's 1:28.
Oh, so okay, no, all right. Well, very good, very good. So at 30, we start. I think. I like to be on time. I have a friend, Catherine Locke. She's a wonderful cellist, but she had the line. She says, "I'm always on time because that way they just can't criticise me for one thing." So and you think that's with a job interview, so at least you can be there on time. That's something you can manage. Okay, well, I think we're coming up to the bewitching hour. I haven't got the second. Let's see what I have got an atomic clock here, so we'll see. Oh, we've got 40 seconds to go.
Let's go.
I'll give you a countdown when the time.
Does it have a piece of cesium in it that's vibrating?
Well, it's been broadcast by magic waves from an atomic thing that's counting crystals. Okay. Right. 15 seconds to go before Riggy time.
I'm nervous already.
I know.
Can someone tell me, was I very quiet earlier on when I sang?
No.
Some of the time, depending on the where your head was, it was a very subtle thing.
I wonder if it was just because I wasn't facing the. But if I look at the audio on preferences now, it doesn't look as if it's picking me up very well.
Well, you have another go soon, but it's Riggy time now. So
okay,
here we go into mute land.
Okay. Back in '71, I had the great pleasure of being part of the Newcastle upon Tyne folk scene. It was very, very vibrant. The Bridge Inn was the be all and end all. And I got to live in the castle of Newcastle with Stefan Sobel. And people like Peter Bellamy came to live there for weeks on end. So I got to have the roommates of the people whose records I had been listening to in America. So one of the people I met then is a guy who's worked a lot now with Jez Lowe and the Pitman Poets, a fellow named Benny Graham. Then he was called Benny the Whale. There was some TV show about Benny the Whale, and he was overweight, so they called him Benny the Whale. So I learned this from Benny the Whale. It's a minor version of a well-known sea shanty. You all should sing along. But instead of hanging on behind, we're going to fall in behind the way Benny the Whale sang it. We'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. We'd be all right if we had a drop of rum. We'd be all right if we had a drop of rum. We'd be all right if we had a drop of rum, and we'd all fall in behind. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along. We'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. Now listen to Benny. We'd be all right if you buggers all would sing. We'd be all right if you buggers all would sing. We'd be all right if you buggers all would sing, and we'd all fall in behind. We'll roll the old chariot along, he'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. If the devil's in the road, we'll roll it over him. If the devil's in the road, we'll roll it over him. If the devil's in the road, we'll roll it over him, and we'll all fall in behind. We'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. We'll be all right when the skipper's in his grave. We'll be all right when the skipper's in his grave. We'll be all right when the skipper's in his grave. We'll all fall in behind. We'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, we'll roll the old chariot along, and we'll all fall in behind. Benny the Whale.
You're muted, Bernard. Bernard, you're muted.
Lizzie next, and then Pete and Maggie.
Saw a guy with a funny haircut, saw him sitting straightly up at the table with a straight back, sitting uply straightly up, and I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten, I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten. He had a waistline, a very slim one, much too slim for the likes of me. His waistline was so slim it could make waistline history, and I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten, I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten, and he only spoke to people when he had to, didn't waste his breath. And I was hanging on to every word he never said. He sold the vegetables and pasta too, that was all he had to do. He peeled potatoes, chopped the carrots, that was when I thought perhaps I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten, and he only spoke to people when he had to, didn't waste his breath. And I was hanging on to every word he never said. Saw the guy with wavy hair, saw him here and saw him there, saw him just about everywhere. Everywhere I went, he was there, and I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten, I was well and truly, true and wellly smitten. I was smitten. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hey.
Excellent. You're welcome.
Thank you.
So, over to Maggie and Pete for a couple of songs.
All right, okay. This is getting to be a cliche, you know. Fella with a concertina singing a sea song. I'm sorry about this, but there we go. From Liverpool to Frisco. From Liverpool to Frisco, when I went to stay in that country, it was my intent. But by drinking strong whiskey like all the damn fools, I soon was transported back to Liverpool and its roll. Oh, bullies roll, them Liverpool Judies have got us in tow. The clipper ship Comet light out in the bay, awaiting a fair wind to send her to sea. The sailors on board are so sick and so sore, their liquor's all gone and they can't get no more, and it's roll. Roll, bullies, roll, them Liverpool Judies have got us in tow. Then up steps the first mate in his suit of blue. He's looking for work for the sailors to do. Then up tops old halyards he loudly was roar, and climb aloft Paddy, a son of a whore, and it's roll. Roll, bullies, roll, them Liverpool Judies have got us in tow. Oh, that night off Cape Horn I never forget. It gives me the horrors to think of it yet. We were diving bows under and all of us wet, making 12 knots with the skysails set, and it's roll. Roll, bullies, roll, them Liverpool Judies have got us in tow. Well, here's to the skipper, wherever he may be. He's a friend to a sailor on land or on sea. But as for the first mate, that dirty old brute, I hope when he dies straight to hell he'll sky hoot, and it's roll. Roll, bullies, roll, them Liverpool Judies have got us in tow.
I always thought that was about gout because the girls got him in the toe because he had gout.
Yeah, sorry, I don't want to hear it.
All right, Maggie's moving into camera shot. Yeah.
I'd also like to take the opportunity to apologize. I have managed to make noise while I thought we were muted and we weren't several times tonight. So if I've come in singing badly on anything of yours, apologies.
It can just give atmosphere. I did some Zoom life modelling. I was doing the drawing, and the woman being sort of drawn, she was wearing a dress, so she said she preferred it not being muted because it felt less sort of voyeuristic. It felt you could actually hear that she was being part of a sort of an event rather than just. Which I thought was quite an interesting idea, an interesting observation. Okay, rightio.
Okay, it's my evening for very well-known songs. My father used to sing it. Do sing along, muted, unmuted, if you know it. The Frozen Lager. Took me a while to realize James Stevens, who wrote it, had written a whole couple of collections of weird stories that were in my primary school library about Paul Bunyan's giant lager. all of which were mainly about exaggeration and bigness. And first verse has one of my favorite couplets ever. As I sat down one evening in a small cafe, a 40-year-old waitress to me these words did say, I see that you are a logger and not just a common bum, 'cause nobody but a logger stirs his coffee with his thumb. My true love, he was a logger, there's none like him today. If you poured whiskey on it, he would eat a bale of hay. He never shaved his whiskers from off of his horny hide. He'd just drive them in with a hammer and bite them off inside. I think I'll try that. My lover came to see me all on one freezing day. He held me in a fond embrace that broke 3 vertebrae. He kissed me when we parted, so hard it broke my jaw. So I couldn't speak to tell him he'd forgot his Mackinaw. I saw my lover leaving, sauntering through the snow, going gaily homeward at 48 below. The weather, it tried to freeze him, it tried its level best. At 100 degrees below zero, he buttoned up his vest. It froze clear through to China, it froze to the stars above. At 100 degrees below zero, it froze my logger love. They tried in vain to thaw him, and would you believe it, sir? They made him into axe heads to chop the Douglas fir. And so I lost my true love, and to this cafe I come, and here I wait till someone stirs his coffee with his thumb.
Yeah, there's a song about a violinist who's only got one finger or something, isn't there? Who's a logger who keeps amputating his fingers. I think
there's a Pete Cooper song about
Pete.
Having or
tiny
Pete Cooper does.
Well, that's not a bit.
But he can't play any longer because he lost his hand to a bandsaw, or his fingers to a
oh, okay, yeah,
something like that. It's a good song. That.
No, it is. I think it's these industry songs are sort of, sort of created things like Black Sabbath and Django Reinhardt. Sort of.
It's just, you're not just a common bum because nobody but a logger stirs his coffee with his thumb. I think is a great gift to the language.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm sorry, Roger's next, so here we go.
Thank you. It's Damned Old Piney Mountains, Pete Cooper song, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. This is one of Terry's songs, if you'll forgive me. Are you leaving in the morning like you done before? Is that your suitcase standing by the door? What was it you wanted that you don't want anymore? You can't always tell. Are you heading for the station one last time? The train is waiting on to carry you down the line. And all those people leaving, but maybe they've just arrived. You can't always tell. You can't always tell. And my sweetheart, she wears my name in a bold tattoo. Forever yours, it says, and it's etched in blue. Easy vanity, but then maybe it's true. You can't always tell. Oh, you tell me I'm a loser. Love is blind. I should have kept you closer, not let you fall so far behind. Thought it was all your fault, but it turns out it was mine. You can't always tell. Oh, so go now if you're going. No long goodbyes. The wind outside is blowing and tearing down the skies. This isn't anything, it's just blown something in my eye. You can't always tell.
Excellent. Better than the real thing.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, we'll have the real thing in a little while, but have David. I'm spreading the guitarist out a bit. So over to David. I'm going to mute land, I think.
Sorry to be disruptive, but you've got Pelagie on the list next.
Ah, yeah, no, it's Pelagie next.
Yeah, can't miss Pelagie out.
Yeah, no, I haven't. No, I was correcting myself. Right, I'm now into.
Right, can you hear me? Okay. Excuse me. On this day, the first recorded total eclipse of Scotland took place. Such events must, of course, have occurred before, but no one could say for certain when. Advances in astronomy and meteorology meant that for the first time, the exact moment and duration of the eclipse could be accurately predicted. As a result, there was mass observation of the spectacle. Despite many scientific reassurances that the eclipse was an entirely natural phenomenon, it was an unnerving 7 minutes for many Scots. As the sun, moon and Scotland aligned, The lunar shadow rapidly and ominously spread from west to east, across the Outer Hebrides, the Inner Islands, Argyll, Galloway, and Wester Ross, until the whole country was cast into utter darkness, and did not begin to re-emerge for some 3 minutes. A not insubstantial minority was convinced that the event must carry some fateful meaning. Some said it signified God's displeasure in a backsliding and licentious people, while others thought it heralded the dawn of a new age for the nation. Picts, Druids, and other practitioners of alternative lifestyles gathered at standing stones and similar prehistoric monuments. Several suicides and a number of never-to-be-solved murders took place during those 7 minutes, in places as far afield as Campbelltown, Cumbernauld and Arbroath, although no convincing evidence that the eclipse was responsible has ever been produced. Civic Scotland responded in different ways. In Edinburgh, a fireworks display on the castle battlements marked the occasion. In Inverness, pubs were allowed, indeed encouraged, to stay open for 24 hours, as refuges for the nervous or superstitious. Along the 96-mile border with England, relays of cyclists, runners, and in the Tweed, swimmers, raced the eclipse from Gretna to Berwick, cheered on by thousands of spectators. Those to the south, bathed in sunshine, enjoyed marvellous views, while those to the north, plunged in gloom, were unable to see a thing. In a post-eclipse opinion poll, 35% of the population said the eclipse should become an annual event. 25% said they would prefer a total and permanent eclipse of England, and the remainder said they didn't care what was eclipsed so long as they got the day off work. That's The Total Eclipse of Scotland by James Robertson. Thank you.
Lovely.
Apologies to any Scots.
So, David next, and what did I came about? Then Alison, then Terry. Yeah.
This time. All muting everybody else. Maggie? Yes. Shall we have something Scottish, or shall I get away scot-free? Right.
Were we muted then so as not to hear the groan, David?
That's right. Someone's got to do it. On Raglan Road of an autumn day, I saw her first and knew that her dark hair would weave a snare that I might some day rue. I saw the danger and I passed along the enchanted way. And I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton Street in November, we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion's pledge. The Queen of Hearts, still making tarts, and I not making hay. Oh, I loved too much, and by such and such is happiness thrown away. I gave her gifts of the mind, and the secret sign that's known to all the artists who have known the true gods of sound and stone, and the word and tint. So I did not stint, for I gave her poems to say, with her own name there, and her own dark hair, like clouds over fields of May. On a quiet street where old ghosts meet, I see her walking now, and away from me so hurriedly my reason must allow that I had loved not as I should, a creature made of clay. When the angel woos the clay, he'll lose his wings at the dawn of day. Yes, when the angel woos the clay, he'll lose his wings at the dawn of day. Favourite? Patrick Kavanagh.
Time, gentlemen, please. Oh, sorry.
As
was
someone who
brilliant this
can
time.
stand the heat in the kitchen, Alison.
The curfew tolls the knell of passing day.
Parting day.
Yep.
Sorry.
I'll just say cheers. Yeah.
Good for the chat box, you two.
There's a lot of noise still. Somebody's frantically tapping away.
Oh, sorry.
Not me.
Aha. Right. So we're going to stay in Ireland for this next song, actually. It's just a lovely version of probably the most hated song ever to finish a folk club night. Do join in your own living rooms. Wild rover, wild rover, wild roving I give o'er, and I never will play the wild rover no more. Well, I've been a wild rover for many a long year, and I spent all me money on whiskey and beer. But now I'm returning with gold in great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more. Wild rover, wild rover, wild roving I give o'er, and I never will play the wild rover no more. I went into an alehouse, money was all spent, well, I asked her for credit. She answered me, nay, such a custom as yours I can get any day. Wild rover, wild rover, wild roving I give o'er, and I never will play the wild rover no more. Well, I took from my pocket 10 sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes opened wide with delight. She said, I have whiskey and wines of the best. What I earlier told you was only in jest. Wild rover, wild rover, wild roving I give o'er, and I never will play the wild rover no more. I'll go home to my parents, confess what I've done, sorry, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal son. And when they've caressed me as oft times before, oh, I never will play the wild rover no more. Wild rover, wild rover, wild roving I give o'er, and I never will play the wild rover no more.
Lovely, well sung.
Excellent. So over to Terry, and then after Terry, Tony, who's new on the block down there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, thank you, Alison. That was lovely. I've not heard that version before. It's just lovely. Really nice. I listened to a Zoom session yesterday when someone said, I'm going to sing one song to the tune of another, and she sang Leonard Cohen's Alleluia to the Can. Somehow it worked, I don't know. Anyway, this is a song that I learnt from, or relearnt from Archie Fisher. Now that I'm older, I know I'm not old enough to know what it is to be lonesome, what it is to be without a home. But I've a friend in mind, loves me rain or shine, just don't ask me why. But her younger eyes, so much older eyes than mine. I thought I was well read, that I wouldn't need to ask her for a lead. When I read what her eyes said, I knew I got nothing more to read, nothing more to say, nothing more to do, but throw all my words away on someone who needs them, who can't find a woman like you. just to see the rising star. There were others before me, and the sound of beauty travels far. And I hear it sweet and clear, and it rings like a silver coin thrown down on stone. And though I'm lost in a crowd, just know she's around me somehow.
Oh,
Wow.
Best sound of anybody here.
Yes. Excellent stuff. Tony, are you with us? Hang on, unmute yourself. You're in mute. Unmute, go on. No. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. You've lost your sound
hang on.
again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the mic turned off. Okay. This is a song by Bobby Gentry, she of Tallahassee Bridge fame. And I hope I can. I mean, okay, I'm looking at the words, but I'm hoping I can remember the tune. Said he'd build me a courtyard. He promised he would. And spend time in my courtyard whenever he could. In the corner a tall tree, so shady and cool, and a white marble fountain in a clear sparkling pool. A lovely stone courtyard with a lacy iron gate, and a beautiful garden where I would wait. Yes, he built me a courtyard like he promised he would. And I know that he'd come to my side if only he could. Patterns in a courtyard, illusions of all that I'm living for.
That was an unexpected ending.
The short version, yeah. Okay, now, Martin.
It's not any longer, that's it.
All right. Okay. Martin, under the sunray lamp.
I wish it was giving out a bit more heat, actually.
It's a matter of colour correction, but there you go.
There you are. It's the problem with yes. These low energy bulbs don't give off enough heat. That's the problem. Dum. I never thought much about females till a couple of months ago. I noticed one of them noticing me, and my mother told me so. This damsel's name is Mary Ann. She winked at me one day. I told mother and mother told me in a motherly sort of way. Mary Ann, she's after me, full of love she seems to be. My mother says that it's plain to see she wants me for a young man. Father says if that be true, John, my lad, be thankful do. There's one bigger fool in the world than you, and that's Mary Ann. Whenever I see her, she's looking at me. I don't know what to do. I tried not looking at her looking at me. My mother told me to. Last Sunday morning, coming from church, she says, I'll walk your way. I kept on walking, I never said naught. Hard and narrow escape that day, for Mary Ann, she's after me. Full of love she seems to be. My mother says that it's plain to see she wants me for her young man. Father says if that be true, John, my lad, be thankful do. There's one bigger fool in the world than you, and that's Mary Ann. There's many a jolly young chap like me as might be glad to know what dangerous animals some girls is. My mother told me so. We walks about like innocent lambs. We do no harm, I'm sure. Then along comes something in frocks and curls, and it never no peace no more. For Mary Ann, she's after me, full of love she seems to be. My mother says that it's plain to see she wants me for a young man. Father says if that be true, John, my lad, be thankful do. There's one bigger fool in the world than you, and that's Mary Ann.
Wendy, where are you on the screen? I've lost you. Are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, yeah. Okay. People move around, so I lose them sometimes.
Very annoying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a bit left field, but I kind of think that these words are really good. It's a poem by Fran Landesman that's been set to music. And given that our lives, at least I feel like my life has kind of contracted. This is called Small Day Tomorrow. I don't have to go to bed. I've got a small day tomorrow. Small day tomorrow. I don't have to use my head. I've got a small day tomorrow. I can sleep the night away, and it won't cause too much sorrow. Not tomorrow. So tonight this mouse will play. She's got a small day tomorrow. Now all those big wheels with all their big deals are gonna need their sleep. But I'm a dropout who'd rather cop out than run with all the sheep. Honey child, tonight's the night, and there's a car I can borrow till tomorrow. We can swing till broad daylight. We've got a long night and a small day tomorrow.
Hey.
Excellent.
Lovely, Wendy. Lovely.
Thank you.
Paul, are you okay?
Yeah,
Great
good.
stuff,
Yeah.
Wendy.
You're next.
Thank you. So, Monday was the International Day of Peace. This is an Alan Richardson song that was written, actually written for Remembrance Sunday a few years ago, but seems appropriate. I have no music sad enough, no uplifting refrain for all the wartime heroes, for the fallen, for the slain. For factories and living rooms that became the battlefield, battered, burned and wearied, till something had to yield. And as with poppies silently, the Albert Hall is filled. Time to spare a thought for all the good folk we have killed. Time to spare a thought for all the good folk we have killed. I have no music sad enough, no soothing words to say for all the gentle souls caught up in acts of war today. And in the ruins grieving lovers, shattered families, no medals, no poppies for civilian casualties, just the hollow words of spokesmen regretting each mistake, while leaders blame the enemy and find no amends to make. Leaders blame the enemy and find no amends to make. It matters not who started it or what they think it's for. For as the poets tell us, there's no just war, just war. For victims without number, for suffering without name, for killing love and innocence, we all stand here in shame. Where can we seek forgiveness? What can we do but pray? And leave it to our children to find a better way. Where can we seek forgiveness? What can we do but pray that somehow in the future they will find a better way.
Great. Now, Sheila, I think over to you.
Yes, I think I found out what the problem was with the volume, but so tell me if it's still faint. Is that okay?
No, it's good.
Right. Yes, it was. I had to change something in preferences. It had gone on to automatic for some reason or other. Now, I'm going to try something out on you. I've been meaning for ages to sing. This is another poem set to music, rather less serious than Wendy's. Part of the reason I haven't got around to it is that I'm not entirely happy with this tune, but I've never put enough energy into finding a better one, so perhaps someone will be able to suggest one. It's a poem by G.K. Chesterton, which we were talking about at another session the other night. Anyway, a couple of us were talking about it. I'm debating whether to repeat the last two lines of each verse to make a sort of chorus, but that feels less important at the moment. So, and I have no idea where to pitch it, but I will have a go. Before the roadman came to Rye or out to Severn strode, the rolling English drunkard made the rolling English road, a reeling road, a rolling road that rambles round the shire, and after him the parson ran, the sexton and the squire. A merry road, a mazy road, and such as we did tread, the night we went to Birmingham by way of Beachy Head. I'm going to try to take that down slightly. I knew no harm of Bonaparte and plenty of the squire, and for to fight the Frenchmen I did not much desire, but I did bash their bagonets because they came arrayed to straighten out the crooked road an English drunkard made. Well, you and I went down the lane with ale marks in our hands, the night we went to Glastonbury by way of Goodwin Sands. His sins they were forgiven him, or why do flowers run behind him and the hedges, all strengthening in the sun? The wild thing went from left to right and knew not which was which, but the wild rose was above him when they found him in the ditch. God pardon us, nor harden us, we did not see so clear, the night we went to Bannockburn by way of Brighton Pier. And I've just changed the tune, haven't I? My friends, we will not go again, nor ape an ancient rage, or stretch the folly of our youth to be the shame of age, but walk with clearer eyes and ears this path that wandereth, and see undrugged in evening light the decent inn of death. For there is good news yet to hear, and fine things to be seen, before we go to paradise by way of Kensal Green. For there is good news yet to hear, and fine things to be seen, before we go to paradise by way of Kensal Green. Kensal Green was, I think at that time, the largest London cemetery. A large one anyway.
That's brilliant.
Any suggestions for a better tune would be, or one that's easier to sing, would be welcomed.
Chris is going to go next, give it a go. He was in doubt because of his cutting out, but I think the cutting out added to the sort of new age sound. So after Chris, Nick, a song. I'm going to ask Terry to finish us off after that. Sort of, if you've got a going home, or well, you are at home, I know, but sort of a staying at home sort of song. Sort of. Okay, I'm going to mute land. It's over to Chris.
Right. This is another song that Peter Bellamy used to sing. It's a traditional song, not one of his own. Come all you young fellows, wherever you be, beware of false witness and sad perjury. For it's by a young female I am wounded full soon, and you see I'm cut down in the height of me bloom. It was last Monday morning I lay in me bed. A young man came to me and unto me said, Rise up, Henry Higgins, and flee you elsewhere, for they're bound out against you on the word of Fanny Blair. Fanny Blair is a girl of 11 years old, and though I am lying, the truth must be told, for I never had dealings with her in me time. It's a cruel thing to die for some other man's crime. Well, the trial came on, and Squire Vernon was there, and on to the table they lifted me Blair. Well, the lies she came out with, I'm ashamed to tell. But the judge spoke up quick, saying, You've told us it well. When the people all heard that young Higgins was to die, they rose up against her with a murmuring cry, saying, We'll catch her and crop her, she's a perjuring little whore. Young Higgins is innocent, of that we're all sure. Just one last request before my life do end. Don't bury me here in this prison ground, so far from me friends. Lay my body to lie in the sweet Bramwell mould, and I pray the Lord pardon that little girl's soul. Fanny Blair.
I can just hope there's going to be another sort of series of harlots. I think
Oh, we're looking forward to that.
Yes. Frightening. Right. Okay. Now, so next is on the wonderful system. I said, Nick, where
Yes.
are you?
Yes.
Oh, you're down there. Yeah, I found you.
I'm the one with Islington Folk Club behind me.
Yeah. But they move around. They move around.
Yeah, they move around. I think you've been drinking too much, Bernard. No. Sorry. Wendy sang a Pogues song earlier on, and this is a song that appeared on the Pogues album, but it's actually written by Phil Gaston, Navigator, and my feet are giving out with age. I've got arthritis in my toes, and I'm only 60, and I feel that's massively unfair. However, I used to fell walk, and now I walk mostly on canals. So this is one of the things that has drawn me towards this song. The canals and the bridges, the embankments and cuts, they blasted and dug with their sweat and their guts. They never drank whiskey, they never drank water, but whiskey by pints. And the shanty towns rang with their songs and their fight. Navigator, navigator, rise up and be strong. The morning is here and there's work to be done. Take your pick and your shovel and the old dynamite for to shift a few tons of that earth we delight. They died in their hundreds with no sign to say where, save the brass in the pocket of the entrepreneur. By a landslide and rock blast they were buried so deep that in death, if not life, they'll have peace while they sleep. Navigator, navigator, rise up and be strong. The morning is here and there's work to be done. Take your pick and your shovel and the old dynamite, and we'll shift a few tons of this earth before night. Their mark on this land is still seen and still laid. The way for a commerce where vast fortunes were made. The supply of an empire where the sun never set, which is now deep in darkness, though the railway's there yet. Navigator, navigator, rise up and be strong. The morning is here and there's work to be done. Take your pick and your shovel and the old dynamite, and we'll shift a few tons of this earth before night. Yes, to shift a few tons of this earth we delight. Thank you.
Big. Just before we ask Terry to sort of finish us off, Nick, are you going to be missing the next one? Did you say?
No, not the next one. The 5th of November.
Oh, the 5th of November. So
Yeah.
is the next one the 8th?
That should be easy to remember.
Yeah.
8th of October is
Remember,
the next
remember.
one. So we'll see everywhere there, hopefully. And I shall ask Terry to sing us out.
Thank you, Bernard, for
Lovely.
hosting.
Yes, yeah, sure. On behalf of everyone, Bernard, thanks ever so much for
Yes.
a lovely evening.
Indeed,
It's
thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, mate.
excellent. Right, I don't really have a song that kind of finishes off in the way that people might like. There are better songs than I could ever write that would do that, I think, or have been sung. But I'm trying not to do songs or repeat songs that I've done before, and I don't think I've done this one. But earlier on I did a Robert Johnson song. This is a song that I wrote about Robert Johnson, Robert Leroy Johnson, to give him his full name. So here we are. This is called From Here to Rosedale. He's just another poor boy riding freight, playing on some heartstrings, but his playing wasn't great. Young enough to pity, old enough to hate. He was down, down, down. Across the highway, dark and cold. Moon was rising, it ran with blood and gold. Jerusalem was over and he sold his soul. He was down, down, down. He was down, down, down. From here to Rosedale, Leroy sang the blues. Satan on his shoulder and the stones were in his shoes. Well, that boy had nothing, nothing left to lose. He was down, down, down. Delta, somewhere down the line, you were standing at the corner with the devil right behind. You cry for a nickel, you die for a dime. When you're down, down, down. Climbed aboard for one last ride. Nobody saw him, everybody passed him by. But when Leroy sang the blues, the whole world cried. They were down, down, down. They were down. Thank you very much.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Proud.
Thank you, everybody. And 2 weeks' time on the 8th of October, we're back here again, so in Zoom land. And
Yes.
drinking till late. Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, all. Thank you, Bernard. Thanks, all. Lovely to see you all. See you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Great night. Bye now.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks
Bye.
all.
Good night,
Bye now.
everyone.
Good night.